Hello, welcome to episode 18 of Big Man in the Woods podcast. Now, this is a Christmas special as we look over the last 12 months worth of podcasting here. Now, I know you're going to say, well, you haven't been around for a little while, Mark. I'll explain all a bit later. Episodes we're going to be covering this podcast is we look back in episode 12 when I talked to Britain's youngest female climber to summit Mount Everest, a lady called Mollie Hughes. Episode 13 takes us to Black Park in Bucks. Episode 14, I go up to God's country and chat to a knife-throwing expert. Episode 16 is all about the Chilli Festival, Scout Camp, Crunchy Critters, and my review on the Vatar torches and phone chargers. And then last but not least, last podcast, episode 17, Bush Scout himself, it's Mr. Terry Longhurst. It's all here on Big Man in the Woods.
Big Man in the Woods. Big Man in the Woods. Big Man in the Woods. And here's your host, Mark. Yes.
Hello, how you all doing? Thank you for re-tuning back into Big Man in the Woods. I know it's been a really while. I think it's like 2 months or something I haven't uploaded a podcast. Few reasons. These are not excuses. Well, they kind of are. One is family is expanding. Yes, you've heard it here first. Big Man in the Woods. We're expecting a new addition to the Yates family due in May. So I've been looking after the wife and my little daughter at the moment while my wife's having a few hiccups in the early stages of pregnancy. But no, all fingers crossed, it's all going to plan. Also, major things in my life that's happening. I don't know if you follow me on Facebook, but I've got a full-time professional radio gig. Yep, so weekends have all been down in Barking on a radio station called Decades Radio, where I present Sunday afternoons, 12 till 2, and as of Boxing Day, in fact, I'll be doing every Saturday morning from 8 till 11. So Decades Radio, check that out. It's only online at the moment, but there's some future plans on expanding it. So if you like your old classics, check out that Decades Radio, and that's where I've been spending my time at the moment. So apologies. I had loads of messages asking where have I been, but I'm still around. And sadly, for the last 3 months, my dad, has been really, really ill, and sadly he passed away just a few days ago. So my thoughts haven't really been in the right places, if you understand. So got that out of my system. It's been a tough couple of weeks, but the poor old man, he fought as much as he could, but hey, that's one of those things. So there's one of the connections we have in life, isn't it? The one thing, no matter what age, sex, race, religion, views of the world, we're all gonna die. I know it's a bit depressing, but hey, get it out of my way. Yep, so that's why I haven't been around for a while, and I apologise. Right, should we crack on with this Christmas special? We look over the past 6 episodes in Big Man in the Woods. One episode we're not going to play, episode 15, which was all to do with Lyme's disease. I'm a bit embarrassed to say that the quality wasn't that good, sound quality, but lots of people enjoyed it, so thank you very much. What's going to happen is, in this podcast, I'm going to take snippets from episodes just to give you a taster and a review of those podcasts, and then you can go back via the website or however you listen to Big Man in the Woods podcast and check out those podcasts. Right, so let's start the Christmas special. So, back in January of this year, I spoke to Britain's youngest ever female climber to summit Mount Everest, aged 21. Here's Mollie Hughes as she describes her summit climb. I think we're just going to crack straight into it. Normally I introduce our guests, but tonight I think we'll let Mollie introduce herself. So, Mollie, hello.
Hi there.
How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
So,
well.
Mollie, you've got like a really cool title to your name, haven't you?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
Some people have got OBEs or sirs, and nah. That's kind of rubbish. But your title that you've now got, tell the listeners. You can tell them yourself.
Okay, so I guess in 2012, I became one of the youngest British climbers to summit Mount Everest. So I climbed Everest when I was 21 in 2012, and spent 2 months living and climbing on the mountain. That's
just amazing. So, most people who are like 21 are kind of climbing over bars and trying to get shots and things like that, aren't they? And there's you climbing over Mount Everest. It's just...
Oh, definitely do that as well.
But yours is better. I like your story. So Mollie, like when I was young, I kind of had a brief thing of climbing Mount Everest. Everyone's got that picture in the wall. But was that kind of your background then? Did you kind of...
No, it's never been a long-term ambition of mine to climb Everest. I didn't actually start climbing mountains until I was 17. So when I was 17, I was at school down in Devon, and we went on this school trip. It was a pretty cool school trip. It was this expedition to Kenya. And on this expedition, we kind of went on safari, did some charity work, and then had the opportunity at the end to climb Mount Kenya. So we spent about 4 or 5 days climbing up Mount Kenya. And standing on the top of Mount Kenya, I was just completely hooked. And I knew that climbing was something I was going to have to do probably for the rest of my life. So yeah, that's where I started when I was 17. But no, Everest had never been an ambition until I got to university, I guess. So it all kind of started in my final year at university, where I was studying sports psychology in Bristol. And in your final year, you've got to write your dissertation, which is that huge project, like 10,000 words. And I kind of thought, if I want to write this big project, it's going to have to be something really interesting, or I'm never going to be able to sit down and write 10,000 words and probably fail my degree. So I thought, what's the most interesting subject I can think of? I love mountaineering, so I thought of Mount Everest as being a huge psychological challenge. So from a dissertation, I interviewed 7 guys who'd all summited. We looked at kind of their motivation, their ability to control fear, the psychological pressure they faced, all these kind of things. And in the end, I wrote this big dissertation, 10,000 words, and got completely hooked on Everest and realised that it was something I wanted to climb, and soon. So yeah, I finished uni, graduated in 2011, and went off to Everest in 2012.
As simple as that. 14th of May 2012 here in London was a bit of a cold day, bit of sunshine, but yours. So what I want you to do is take us back to 4 a.m. on the 14th of May 2012, and just briefly describe what was so special about that day.
Okay. So on this day, this was actually the day that we left Everest Base Camp for the last time, and we were heading up to the summit. So we left base camp at 4 a.m. It was freezing cold. So nervous, so anxious about what lay ahead. But we left base camp and headed up onto the mountain. Spent the next 3-4 days getting up to camp number 4 on Mount Everest, which is the final camp before the summit, and kind of the starting point of the summit day. And the summit day is like the longest and the hardest day of the whole expedition. And it was definitely the longest and hardest day of my whole life. It just went on and on. So we left camp 4 at 8 p.m. on the 19th of May, on the 18th of May, yeah, at 8 p.m. And we started climbing kind of into the night, into the darkness. And you climb at night because conditions are a bit more stable at night. And you want to have lots of time during the day to make your way back down in daylight. So yeah, we left there at 8 p.m. and just climbed into the night for hours upon hours upon hours. The sun finally rose about 5 a.m. after these kind of 9 hours of climbing in the dark. And that was incredible when the sun rose on Mount Everest. The coolest thing actually was, so Mount Everest is obviously a huge triangular shaped mountain. As the sun rises up behind it, it throws out the shadow of Everest pretty much onto Nepal. There's this huge triangular shadow. It's incredible. And it goes kind of all over all the mountains in front of you, then up into the sky as well. Just this massive shadow. Then you keep climbing. You get up over the Hillary Step, which is kind of sort of the technical crux of summit day, so the hardest part. So up over the Hillary Step, and then you've got the final summit ridge, which is not that long, but it took me a long time. I don't know, it took me an hour or so, an hour and a half to get along this final summit ridge. Every step hurt a lot. Every step, your body was kind of crying out for you to turn around. Then finally at 8 a.m. we made it to the summit. No, there was to climb up, so we just kind of had to stay there for a little bit and then head back down again.
Join our Facebook page.
Facebook.com/Big Man in the Woods.
And I do believe there's phone signal at the top of Mount Everest, isn't there?
There wasn't for me, unfortunately.
Oh.
I think a few managed to. I know. I really wanted to call my mum from the top.
Because I can't remember who it was, but there was like the first ever tweet on Mount Everest. So the guy said he got 3G, so that would be quite cool.
Big Man in the Woods is my dad.
Paul Kirley wants to know, did you have a special diet when you were training?
A special diet? Not specifically. Just trying to eat nice and healthily, of course. Try not to drink too much, try not to go to the pub too much. And also just kind of after a big training session, just refueling well. So when you get back from a massive run or hike, make sure you're eating lots of carbohydrate and protein to repair and recover, and then be ready for the next day of training.
So how many days of training a week did you do then?
I think I probably tried, I guess I probably tried 5 days. I think rest was really important. That's definitely what I learned from my coach. The rest days are really important in training, which I quite like. I was quite up for that.
Big Man in the Woods with Mark Yates.
Big Man in the Woods.
How much does it cost to climb up Mount Everest then? Because I've seen a few, sponsorship wise, and you can pay a minimum amount as long as you raise such amount. Is there a minimum fee for Mount Everest and all the expenditures you have to put into it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really expensive mountain to climb. Probably the second most expensive mountain to climb in the world. It can cost anywhere from like 25 to 45, 50,000 pounds.
Wow.
You're listening to Big Man in the Woods.
So I did hear a little rumor about you.
Yeah.
It's always good to find out rumors about you. That you're actually scared of heights.
Yeah. I don't really like heights very much.
Mount Everest is not very tall, is it?
Yeah. No, true. No, I really don't like heights very much. Get a bit scared. Don't want to look down too much.
And you chose to climb up Mount Everest.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I guess I don't like being scared of things, and I don't like being scared of heights especially. So I guess I try and put myself in situations to try and get over this fear. So if it's rock climbing, ice climbing, or climbing big mountains, yeah, try and do it to try and help.
So you're sorted of that fear now, I guess. Have you conquered it?
No, not quite.
Ow.
Definitely got better. Through everything, but no, still get a little bit edgy on big rock climbing.
So if you check out the website bigmaninthewoods.com and then click on podcasts, you'll be able to listen back to the full interview of Mollie. Now in February, episode 13, I went to Buckinghamshire to one of my favourite places called Black Park. I talk about my Paul Kirley Tree ID course. I haven't done any of that, to be honest. Also chat about films that have been filmed in Black Park and Channel 5's 10,000 BC.
It's, what is it, like February the 18th or something as I record this today. And it's really nice. It's February half term. I've managed to actually sneak a day off the holidays away from my wife and daughter. I used a bit of an excuse. I met up with a really old friend of mine. Her name is Stan, and we met at a really cool place that I used to come here as a kid a lot. It's Black Park. Black Park, just the other side of Slough, next door to Pinewood Studios. 860 acres of glorious woodlands and heaths and a huge lake. And if you know this area, I'm just walking up to the heathland area where all the heather and wild cows are. That's where I'm currently walking. There's a few things why I'm here. One of the things I'm here for is for some firelighting gear. So I've just found a fallen silver birch. So I've got a whole load of silver birch bark. It's like Christmas has come early. What else have I found? King Alfred's cake. I'm just looking at some more here. Cramp balls. Really good firelighting techniques using those old primitive skills, flint and steel. I'll be doing that a bit later. But the main reason I'm here is to do some tree IDing. I've signed up to the Paul Kirley Tree and Plant ID Masterclass. That got launched over the weekend, and I was straight to sign up. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I should have done it last year, but for family reasons and work-related reasons, I was unable to do it. So I'm here doing Module 1. Just having a look around the different trees. I'm standing next to a conifer tree here. Smells lovely.
Join our Facebook page.
Facebook.com/Big Man in the Woods.
In this episode, I actually wanted to talk about the bird watch that I did, and I also got my scouts to do it as well. So part of their nature badge is they had to spend an hour in the last weekend in January counting the birds that came into their garden, and I did that as well. I'll put the results up on the website. It's been quite interesting, and we will submit that to the RSPB Big Bird Watch 2015. Last year, number one, I think off the top of my head, was the robin, or I may have just made that up.
Big man in the woods is my dad.
Just coming up to the heathland, and the heather has all died back, but I remember coming here as a kid, and beautiful pink, bright, vivid pink, up here in Black Park. If you haven't been here, as I say, 860 acres of glorious woodlands, and it is a shame now, because when I was here as a kid in the lake, I'm out of puff because it's a long old fair old walk around here. What was I saying? Yeah, as a kid I used to come here and used to be able to swim in the lake. They used to have a section cornered off for swimmers. You used to be able to get paddle boats, and all that has stopped. We used to have a little barbecue, but sadly that's not been allowed, so it's a shame, but it's actually nice coming back here and appreciating Black Park in a different way. When I was here as a kid, it was just a place to run around and find a gun, the biggest gun you could find. That was just a twig. It's not a real gun, you can't find that. And now I come here as a grown adult, age 34, and I see it in a different way. There's a stream here. I'm just thinking, shall I cross it or not? It's tempting, but I'm too tired. And now I come here, and as I was saying, see it in a different light. I appreciate the trees a lot more, but one thing I do appreciate more is being outside. Working and living in central London, you know, you got the hustle and bustle, and just coming here, it's like 20 minutes drive from where I live in central London to Black Park here in Buckinghamshire, and it's like in another world. It's amazing. And nothing. I can hear one plane rumbling from Heathrow Airport, but that's about it, you know. I've been walking for about 15 minutes and I haven't come across anybody. I'm actually at the far end of Black Park, so not many people come up this way. With the kids, everyone kind of stays down by the lake and cafe area. But
Big Man in the Woods with Mark Yates.
Big Man in the Woods.
And also, a crazy idea I had just before Christmas. I didn't tell you about this because I wasn't sure how well it would be going. I signed up to Slimming World. Yep. I'm not afraid to admit it now, actually. I kept it quite quiet for a while. It was kind of a bit embarrassing. But now, 3 months in... No, it's not 3 months. It's coming up to 3 months. I started the week before Christmas, and everyone was like, no, Mark, don't sign up to that before Christmas. But it's going well. I've lost a stone and a half in just came up to 3 months, which I'm really proud of doing that. And that's going to help me get out and about when I go and do more of my walks. It'll be cool.
On iTunes, Spreaker, iHeartRadio and online. You're listening to Big Man in the Woods.
Yeah, Black Park, here I am. This is a location for numerous videos because it's next door to Pinewood, so lots of James Bond films have been filmed here, Harry Potter films have been filmed here, and dare I say it, Spice World. Do you remember that one with the Spice Girls? That was filmed in locations in Black Park. So yeah, it's all going well. Don't forget, Bushcraft Journal just got launched 1st of February. It's going down really, really well. This episode had 96 pages of pure articles all about the outdoors and survival, bushcraft, camping, a whole load of things. You can go over there. And the best thing is, oh, that was a bit cheesy, but hey, no adverts, which is amazing.
You're listening to Big Man in the Woods.
But what I want to talk about is television. What's that got to do with camping, Mark? It's not the outside. Well, two really interesting programs are on at the moment. Channel 5 is what's it called, 10,000 BC, about the caveman. I think there was a bunch of 20 people, and then 2 dropped out, and then 2 jumped out, and then down to the final 6. And I was enjoying the first 2 episodes. I really was enjoying them until they ran out of food, and then the producers stepped in and gave them McDonald's and orange juices and all that kind of stuff. Maybe it wasn't McDonald's, maybe I exaggerated, but they did give them some food, and then the snow, and then so they abandoned the whole experiment of cave people living in the woods in Bulgaria, 10,000 BC. So they spent 7 days back into the hotel. It was all a bit bizarre. And then I kind of was researching, and I found out that the guys were having hose-piped water piped to them because they were struggling getting water, they were struggling getting food. The kind of thing got whole abandoned. And then when you start reading into it and looking into it more, you found out that the guys only had a few days training before they set off for this experiment, and most of the training was done via DVD, which was really bizarre. So while they got stopped, they had 7 days of pure, intense training with 2 bushcraft and caveman experts, firelighting, catching wood, how to store the meat correctly without the maggots getting in touch with it, and all that kind of really ruined it now. So I haven't watched another episode since last Monday or whatever. Ooh, another cattle grid. Nearly fell in that time. So yeah, it's kind of spoilt it really. So let me know on your views on 10,000 BC. But the other one, yay, I know you're going to be wanting me to talk about this, is the new Bear Grylls Survival Island, which starts Friday at 8 o'clock on ITV. So it's the 20th of February. Bear takes X amount of celebrities onto an island, and they have got to decide, they've got to defend it for themselves, and Bear teaches them techniques and stuff like that, and then they get booted out week by week. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. And I know not many people are the best Bear Grylls fans, but you know, if you're fellow listeners, that I am a big Bear Grylls fan. I met him a few times, but one of the main reasons why, personally, he got me outside, I used to watch a lot of his Discovery programs, and he was the one that inspired me to join the Scouts. Yep, Bear doesn't do the best things, and I know people are kind of like, oh, Bear Grylls, why does he do that? Why does he do that? Oh, why does he drink his own piss? But it's all for TV, you know. He's not a Ray Mears, he's not showing you how to do bushcraft stuff. Yeah, some of the things he does is a bit silly, but it's all for telly, and people are talking about him a lot, so hey. And the other big thing, he's inspired a lot of young people to join the Scouts, and the Scouting movement all around the world is just amazing. And we did a little experiment, me and a guy called Jethro. Hello, Jethro, I know you listen to this. We were in Gilwell Reunion. Not Gilwell Reunion, sorry. It was the winter camp, I beg your pardon. Winter camp at Gilwell in the middle of January. And we did an experiment. Jethro thought, oh, what's he talking about? Has Bear really inspired all these young people to join Scouts? So we did. We asked a whole load of Scouts. A fair few of them actually said yes. He has inspired us to go scouting. A few of them were like, oh, Bear Grylls.
So did you watch Channel 5's 10,000 BC? Yeah. It was a bit of a mixture, wasn't it? A bit of a letdown. And our friends over at Shark Design's Beaver Bushcraft had a whole load of props for them. You know, the little peasant drinking stuff. They all did that. Check it out. You can buy those as well. Right, moving on to episode 14. I went up to God's Country in Yorkshire, and we chatted to the founder of Qatar. He's the knife-throwing legend of England, Mr. John Taylor. Here we go. So let's quickly explain our location, Ray.
Yeah, we're 20 miles south of York
yes,
City, about that?
That sort of area, yes, in Yorkshire. God's Country.
God's Country.
I've certainly let you come through the old passport barriers, so we've got you up from the south. You're now in Yorkshire.
It was a bit weird because, like, I didn't know these places existed outside the M25. Outside the M25, the world doesn't exist.
There is life outside there, I can assure you. A far
intelligent
calmer
life as well.
A far calmer life as well.
So let's explain while we're here. Knife throwing, axe throwing.
Axe throwing. We're on a scout leader course for axe throwing to learn how to axe throw safely.
Do some training
and
courses.
instruct our young people.
Exactly. And we're here at like the number one place in the UK.
Definitely, virtually the only place in the UK that does this sort of course. Safety first, where we throw axes, knives, anything we can think of that we can make stick into a target. Safely, though, safely.
Join our Facebook page.
Facebook.com/BigManInTheWoods.
Yeah, I'm 63 years old. I've been throwing now 8-9 years seriously. I've always been interested in knife and axe throwing, how it works. I think it was about 2006. I really took up the sport of knife throwing into targets, bullseye style targets where you literally throw at them and try and get the highest score. I just didn't get any further, so I went over to Austin, Texas, went all the way over there, learned from the experts over there, came back, founded our club that we have here now, and we're now sat at a location where we have 15 throwing ranges, where we've got wooden targets, and all we do is try to throw them safely and make them stick into them as many times as we can accurately.
Big Man in the Woods is my dad.
It's called the Knife Axe Tomahawk Throwing Association UK, and we have our own internet site, knifethrowing.co.uk. That was founded about 8 years ago now when I came back from the USA. Since then, we've now expanded from what was a couple of targets to, as I say, about 15 throwing areas now where we meet up every fortnight. 20 or 30 people from all over the UK come to us, learn how to throw, and then take the sport into US and European championships. Yeah.
Big Man in the Woods with Mark Yates.
Big Man in the Woods.
So the game that we played, the snooker game earlier on this morning, as I lost, does that mean I'm the target late this afternoon?
No.
Phew.
Nobody today will ever throw around anybody else unless they are far, far more experienced. I have done it before now, after about 4 years practicing continually, maybe twice, 3 times every week, maybe 2-3 hours in those sessions. You have to know that you will absolutely stick that knife every time. If you try and do it at home, you're just an accident waiting to happen.
Absolutely.
On iTunes, Spreaker, iHeartRadio and online. You're listening to Big Man in the Woods.
And just using the word knife, everybody knows these as throwing knives, but any true professional will never throw a knife that is bladed, i.e. can cut. There is a tip at the end of it, that's all they need to make it stick in the target. As you progress in knife throwing, you'll be holding the handle, and then you'll also be holding what we call the blade. Holding the blade is completely dull. If you pick up at home any kitchen knife and try and throw it, you're again just an accident waiting to happen. This is the whole idea. You throw literally a piece of steel with a tip on the end of it. You can do exactly the same thing throwing a screwdriver, a trowel, whatever. As long as you have a tip, you can make it stick in that target safely.
Absolutely. So you wouldn't recommend us using our camp knives then?
Not at all whatsoever. First of all, they're not the right shape.
Okay.
Definitely not the right shape. In our club here, we have a little house rule, which is that every throwing knife, if we can still call them that, they are at least 12 inches long. They're just a piece of steel. Probably they may have a handle on them, but the handle is purely there to hold it in the same way every time.
Big Man in the Woods is my dad.
What do you think of these guys next door? As we're just saying,
we're hearing various clangs and chinks and things falling on the floor. They've only just started, though, to be fair, actually. Some of them are quite good. Some of them are quite good, but some of them are still learning.
Come on, name.
No, that would be unfair.
Find us on YouTube.
YouTube.com/Big Man in the Woods UK.
Most of us here are scout leaders. In fact, all of us are scout leaders. But listeners, we have quite a lot of scout listeners. Would you recommend this sport to scouts?
Absolutely. It's 100% safe. I'm now running this course here for scout leaders. I'm not sure how many people I've had through, but maybe 100 now, I don't know. The whole idea of the course was now to actually hand over axe throwing to the actual Scouts organisation. Hopefully, in the next couple of months or so, I certainly know people inside the Scouts are talking to the main headquarters in the UK, and I'm hoping I can go down to their headquarters and show them how to do this completely safely. It's a case of people 9, 10, 11 years old. I've had them throwing axes, no problem whatsoever, completely safely. It is a good sport. It's a thing that people can easily achieve, and it just gives them such an intense pleasure to actually primevally throw it and make it stick in that target. There's just something, it's like a sort of legal drug inside yourself.
Yeah.
You know you want to do it again and again and get better and better.
It is quite manly, though, isn't it?
It can be, yes. If you want to call it that way, yes, yeah.
I don't want to be rude, though, John, but isn't it sending mixed messages to young people that, when we teach knife skills, we're saying, don't throw the knives, don't stab it in the stump of the tree. When you finish your knife, always resheath it. And now you're telling us that it's fine to throw a knife. Isn't that mixed messages?
It is mixed messages because, as we've talked about before, I don't like young people especially to learn knife throwing. All I'm teaching on this course is axe throwing. You will then hand it on to other young people. I am not teaching you to throw knives to show it to them afterwards.
Absolutely.
Knives, as I've said before, knives have sharp blades on them. They are specifically to cut things. That's what a true bushcraft knife does, any knife does. But these, unfortunately, it's the wordage. These are known as throwing knives, but they are not knives whatsoever. I can take any of my throwing knives, whatever you want to call them now, run them over the back of my hand. They will not cut my hand whatsoever. They are completely dull. There's no sharp edges on them.
You're listening to Big Man in the Woods.
Taught martial artists, burlesque dancers, lots of ordinary people who come to our range.
Does your wife know about the burlesque dancer, by the way?
Oh, yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay,
yes,
right.
she's met her, no problem at all. Whatsoever, yeah. In fact, one of the other people I've taught is an actor, as it turned out to be. I was asked to show somebody to throw knives live on stage over at Leeds Opera House or wherever it is over there, for a Shakespeare play. Turned up there, I said, yeah, I can teach anybody to throw knives, no problem. Turned up there, the person I actually had to teach was Lenny Henry.
Oh, wow.
Taught him how to throw knives. I'm pleased to say he wasn't very good, because I had to keep going back and teaching him again and again and again. Thank you very much, sir.
Big Man in the Woods with Mark Yates.
Big Man in the Woods.
Hey, Henry, any other celebs? Any name drops?
One smaller star, I suppose you could call him. If you've ever seen the film Snatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. In there was a chappie there who played the big bruiser, the big chappie, real broad shoulders. I can't remember
something
his name
McLean.
now. I can't. Anyway, I've taught him to throw knives as well. And no other name drops.
Proper East End gangster looking.
Yeah, but he's not.
Yeah.
Soft as pudding. Because
he's not from Yorkshire.
He is actually. Yeah, he's a Yorkshire lad. Yeah. I can't remember anybody else. No, that's not. Well, if people, that was just somebody hitting the roof. Actually, I heard that big clang. Actually, stopped me in my tracks. Did that one. He was trying to throw. Yeah, he was trying to do double spin.
We won't name drop so Jeremy doesn't get in trouble for this.
Jeremy, I'm sorry, but that wasn't very good. Let's go back to,
go back to basics
again. Go back to basics. You're starting to run before you walk, Jeremy.
I've got loads here.
So if you fancy joining the Qatar Association, Qatar, I said it right, yeah? So if you're a fan of axe throwing, knife throwing, head over to the website, bigmaninthewoods.com, click on podcast and go to episode 14, and there's a link there to John's association to find out all the information about axe and knife throwing. Right, so episode 15, I'm not putting in this podcast, I'm afraid, just because, as I said earlier on, the sound quality wasn't the best as I was testing out a new bit of sound equipment, but yeah, that's been filed in the bin. But if you want to check that one out, episode 15 was all about ticks and Lyme disease. Big thing in the summer, so listen to that. Had some great feedback on that. So episode 16 was just a bit of a catch-up while I've been away over the summer about my summer scout camps, the Chilli Festival down in Essex, and we talked to Crunchy Critters. And also I do the review on the Vatar torches, batteries and phone charger. Bit of a letdown on the Vatar phone charger. It's all here on episode 16 in August. Right, we're back here, full blast, boom, full on, loads of stuff happening, loads of stuff have happened since we last chatted. So going through what have I been up to, a few scout camps, so that was kind of cool to get back out into the woods and in the fields with the scouts, teaching them whatever. We got autumn camp coming up just around the corner, so we're playing a Takeshi's Castle style themed for that, so that'd be quite cool. Looking at my notes, what I've been up to in the past couple of months, Craghopper Party. I went to their 50th anniversary at the Royal Geographical Society Hall. Can't say that. Royal Geographical Society. That was it. And Leveson Wood was there, the guy who walked the Walking of the Nile. So he gave a talk, and we found some information of what's coming up in the new season for Craghopper. So that was really cool to go down there. Brand new festival. If you follow me on Facebook and also the Bushcraft Journal, you'll notice that we all went off to Essex. The only way is Essex, yeah? All right, it's a really bad Essex accent, but yeah, never mind. We went off to the first Wild Food and Chili Fair. It says that festival has been running for a few years, but this year was a brand new thing. They spun off on the side a bushcraft zone, so we went down there. I was supporting the bushcraft zone with the Bushcraft Journal, and it was really, really cool. First one, as I said, so you never knew exactly what was going to happen. No one knew. It was kind of make it up as we go along, more or less, kind of thing. I'm going to play an interview with the guys called from Crunchy Critters. It's the only interview I managed to get all weekend, and it's the only... So I go off to the Bushcraft show up in Derby, and I'm hosting the main stage, but I get enough time to walk around and stuff. But this festival, I was on a stand. I was running the Bushcraft Journal stand, so I couldn't wander off and have a look around all the stalls as much as I could. I did have a bit of time off, but I would like to interview a few more people. So I'm afraid I only managed to get this interview with the Crunchy Critter guys.
Big man in the woods. He's my dad.
Okay, right, we're here outside the Crunchy Critters, and if you're a listener to the podcast, you know how much I like my critters. So we're here with Nick. Hello.
Hello there.
Right, Nick, tell us about the company.
Well, Crunchy Critters started in 2012, and with the idea of kind of bringing insects to the UK. There's a few other companies at the time doing it, but we thought, well, try and bring a bigger product range and some products that aren't on the market already, and Crunchy Critters was born.
Excellent. So kind of the likes of Bear Grylls has probably helped your company.
Bear Grylls, yes, and like I'm a Celebrity, Halloween and Christmas.
I forgot about I'm a Celebrity. So I'm thinking, when I came here earlier on, I looked at the tarantula. That's got to be a good seller.
Tarantula's a really good seller, and we managed to get Carl Fogarty to eat them in the final. No credit, of course, but hey-ho. And really, the things like the locust do really well. Really well.
So the tarantulas, I don't know, is it like people really enjoy eating them, or do they just like the shock of it?
No, it's the shock value, definitely more. Definitely the shock value. We got a distinct market. There's the likes of the primary schools, the scouts, etc. They go for the mild insects like the locusts, the crickets, the mealworms, and then you got the stag party type people, or people that are raising money for for whatever event their cause is, and they want the bigger things like the scorpions, the tarantulas, the water scorpions, or the water bugs as otherwise known, and the male rhino beetles. They want the big stuff.
Rhino beetles, that's the one I had. All right, let's talk about the stall. What insects have you got with you today?
Today we have, starting off, the Dutch supplier, and they supply mealworms, buffalo worms, crickets and locusts. They're all freeze-dried, commercially bred, organically fed. And then we've got our Thai supplier. He's an English chap, and he has sent us things like wild black ants, scorpions, tarantulas, mixed like a rhino beetle, male rhino beetle, giant water bugs, silkworm pupae, sago worms, and then we've got the Mexican supplier who we buy the chapelines from, which are Mexican grasshoppers, and they come in chili, lemon or garlic flavour, or we have a fried chapeline with peanuts, garlic and chili.
Sounds good. I must say your fudge was very tasty.
Yeah, I forgot about the fudge. Too much to remember, you see, Mark. And the fudge, yeah, that's made in the UK by ourselves, with a hint of caramel and salted, like a salted caramel. So you've got Himalayan salt, caramel flavouring, and then we add the buffalo worms in at the end. So it's almost like that cheese that you used to be able to buy over in Europe. It's got the live maggots in it. We're trying to get that kind of effect.
Nice. Nutrition value. Everyone goes on about, the crickets are really high in protein. Are they good for my diet then?
Great for your diet because they're high in protein, low in carbs, low in the bad fats. Win-win.
That's not what you meant to say, because at the moment I'm going for this big health kick. I've lost 3 stone, so it's all good. And, they keep saying, increase the protein. I wasn't really hoping you were saying that the crickets were the best ones.
Well, yeah, the crickets, it's just whether you can get the taste. I think if you can integrate them into a diet, rather than just saying, I'm going to have my crickets this morning, my 100 grams of crickets, just put them on salads, things like that, or even put them on top of your pizza. Just try and bring them in a bit at a time, and you get a taste for them.
So you eat these all the time then?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. More so when I'm packing the things. My favourites are the chapelines, the chili chapelines. Nice little hit to them, nothing too spicy. But then again, you try the mealworms, quite popcorny.
Popcorny?
Yeah, popcorny. But we need to get you on the spider, Mark.
No,
Take the spear. Take the next step.
The tarantula.
The spider.
Oh, no. I might have to, but yeah. I might have to have some more of the ginger beer a bit later. No, it's been good. Guys, if you want to head over to Crunchy Critters website, Nick will tell you all the details on how you can buy these amazing grubs.
Yeah, so folks, we're online. It's www.crunchycritters.com. We've got a Facebook page, so facebook.com/crunchycritters. And on the website, you'll also see the links to the other Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter.
Excellent. So there we are. Head over to the website and you'll see all these amazing goodies.
Big Man in the Woods with Mark Yates.
Big Man in the Woods.
Right, what else is happening? As I record this, I should have been heading down to the Wilderness Gathering. That's a really sore subject. I was really looking forward to going there for the first time ever. Loads of people talk about the Wilderness Gathering, how it's a really cool, laid-back festival. It's the original one. I was all geared up to go for it with from Danny with the Bushcraft journal stand, all that kind of stuff. And then my wife surprised me by extending our holiday. We were going off to Portugal for 2 weeks, but she brought it forward. In fact, she brought it forward so much. It was the Wilderness Gathering weekend, and there was no way could I talk my way out of it, should I say, of not going on holiday with them. So sadly, I won't be at the Wilderness Gathering, which is a real shame because I was really looking forward to going it for the first time and catching up all my friends and listeners of the Big Man in the Woods podcast. But hey ho, family comes first, doesn't it? Yeah. What also has been going on since we last chatted? beaverbushcraft.co.uk, I bought from them the leather Peasant Flask. Lovely little thing. You may have seen them floating around on the internet and Instagram and Beaver Bushcraft Facebook page. They made them all for the Channel 5 10,000 BC, and I purchased one of those to add to my collection. I'm really, really enjoying that. Head over to their website. I think they're about 50-60 quid. They are expensive, but each one is individually made. They're not mass made. They're really cool. Individually sealed, stitched. By Mark. sand molded. There's a whole other stuff. We're going to talk to Mark in a future podcast about how he makes those. What else has been happening? The main man, the natural navigator himself, Tristan Gooley. Wow. Cheesy round of applause there, but I went off to one of his talks. He was doing a national talk. I went into a tiny little bookshop. I think there was about 15, there was 20 max, as he talked about his current book, The Walker's Guide to the Outdoor Clues and Signs. I went off to a 2-hour chat with Tristan. First time I met him, I've been reading his book, but his talk was awesome. Absolutely awesome. If you get a chance to go and see Tristan's talk, do it. It is fantastic. It was a shame that... It was a real shame that it was only kind of like an hour and a half, 2-hour chat, because just as you were getting into it, sadly his time came up. And as he said, he can't teach everything in that hour and a half, 2 hours of the stuff that he writes about. So I'm going to go off and do one of his courses in October. It's like a 24-hour course with him, I think it is, or maybe just a 12-hour course in October. So I'm really looking forward to that.
In the woods is my dad.
We were talking about the man earlier on himself. I was lucky enough to meet him a couple of months ago at the Royal Geographical Society building. Mr. Leveson Wood, really cool guy. Asked him a question, but I can't really remember what the question I asked him. Oh yeah, it was about mantras. You know, when you're struggling... and he walked the whole length of the Nile, 4,000 miles on foot. And I said, was there any time that you kind of gave up? And how did you get yourself out of that? You know, what did you tell yourself? And his answer was more or less kind of, well, if these people can live there, then so can I. I can get out of it on the other side. I'm lucky enough to get out of it. So, yeah, it was a really cool talk. Leveson Woods, he chatted about his epic journey of 4,000 miles, travelling from the start of the Nile all the way to the end. It was a really good talk. Really enjoyed it. And he told us about the ups and lows. I don't know if you've been watching it on Channel 4 recently, because they replayed it. And he told us the sad story of the two journalists that joined him halfway on his journey. Sadly, they were very experienced journalists, but one of them sadly died. Heat stroke, just took it out. And because he was so far away from help, by the time they got help, sadly, the journalist sadly passed away. Yeah, it's just one of those sad things that happens, isn't it? So, on a lighter note, let's run another competition! Yay! This podcast is all about competitions this month. Oh, you're so lucky, aren't you?
On iTunes, Spreaker, iHeartRadio and online. You're listening to Big Man in the Woods.
Talk about my new purchase. So I went off to... Where did I go? Somewhere up north. Can't remember where I went. I went off with the old man, Paracord Sam, Julian. Where did I go? Ray was there. It's up like kind of Leicestershire way. And it was for a pre-planning camp that we're doing... coming very, very soon. I will tell you all about that. Put the hammock up and it was chucking it. The whole weekend decided to rain. Thankfully, it stopped raining as we were striking camp, so we managed to get the tarps and the hammock all dried out, thankfully. But looking at the Old Man in the Woods tarp setup, he's got the 3x3 DD tarp. Well, mine's just a smaller version, and I was really, really jealous. So off I went. I went off to DD Hammock's website, looked at the 3x3 tarp. I think it's about just under 40 quid, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to get it. My birthday coming up. My mum's going to give me some cash, so off I went and ordered it. But I know a little trick. I'll tell you a little trick between me and you. Now, DD Hammocks have a really fantastic customer service. They are one of the best customer service companies that I've ever known. They are amazing. If you email them or even call them, ask for a lady called Penny. And what Penny will tell you is if you ask for, have you any seconds? Have you any seconds? Now, this isn't second-hand stuff. This is stuff that hasn't passed quality control. Now, all the stuff is... It's not, as I say, it's not second-hand nothing, but it's stuff that's been rejected from quality control. Now, when I bought my last hammock, one of the stitching wasn't straight. It was actually a bit zigzaggy. That failed customer quality control, and they sell it off at a super cheap rate. Now, I ordered my 3x3. I asked Penny, have you got any seconds? And she said, yes, Mark. But one on this one. On the ridgeline, 2 of the flat bits, whatever you call them, can't remember, straps, they've come loose a bit. So if you get out the sewing machine, you wouldn't know. Now, I got that all inclusive of P&P for £17. Absolute bargain. I saved myself, it was half the price. It's brand new DD 3x3 tarp. All I got to do is spend 10 minutes on the sewing machine, and I saved myself half the price. So there you go. There's a little tip from me. If you ever want to go and buy something from DD Hammocks, instead of just buy now, send him an email if you can wait, and just ask if they've got any seconds. You'll save yourself a whole load of money, and maybe even still buy something else. Yeah.
You're listening to Big Man in the Woods.
So not only have I been doing Slimming World, I'm also doing loads of exercising. I'm running, I'm cycling to work, I'm cycling into central London, so I'm now doing just over 20 miles a day, doing 2 10k runs a week, and also signing up to the military boot camp here in Ealing, where I live in West London. So I'm doing boot camp once a week and personal training once a week with a commando. He's a real soldier, so he's helping me to get super fit in the outdoors. So I hate gyms. I really hate gyms. This is all using my own free body weight, and at the moment, there's a load to be used. So that's what I've been up to at the moment.
Big Man in the Woods with Mark Yates.
Big Man in the Woods.
Nice. Right. I'm going to talk about Vatar. I actually don't know how you pronounce it. It's really bad, isn't it? They're the company that make those batteries, Varta. That they did torches and other bits and pieces. I only knew them as a battery company. And a few months ago, I teamed up with a Gadget Show. I went along with Paracord Sam. And Vatar, I'm going to have to learn how you say that name. That's really bad, isn't it? They were there. They were stand. And basically, they had what is known as the 3-watt LED indestructible torch, and basically it's a rubber torch, and they had it on 2 bungees, and you could slam it against a really thick concrete slab, and they would kind of like, if you can break it, you're amazing. So everyone at the Gadget Show was slamming it against this brick. Nothing. I had a go, my mate had a go, Paracord Sam had a go, and I started chatting to the lady on the stand, and she was telling me at the tank. Earlier on in the show, drove over it, and that didn't smash it at all. So I kind of explained who I was, and they said, okay, we'll send you some indestructible gear for you to test out. So a few weeks later, they lovingly sent me the 1-watt indestructible torch, the 3-watt indestructible torch, and the headlamp. It was a really cool headlamp, but I've actually gone and bought their lantern because it's just amazing. It's really cool. That's a 5-watt indestructible lantern. Fantastic, may I say. So a few months ago, we headed up to Lancashire. I was there. Ray Hutchins was there. Old Man was there. Terry, Paracord Sam was there. Julian was there, and some other Julian's mates, and we went up to Lancashire, a scout camp. I was talking about it earlier on in the podcast, and the whole weekend, as I said, was chucking it down. It just would not stop raining. And while I was driving up to Lancashire, I was like, you know what? I'm waiting for that phone call for it to be called off, and I was really hoping so, but never mind. Got up there Friday afternoon, and thankfully, it turned out to be a really cool weekend.
Big Man in the Woods with Mark Yates.
Big Man in the Woods.
Challenged me to smash up these indestructible lanterns. They said no one's been able to do it. The Army bomb disposal tank hasn't been able to smash it up. So it's kind of really impossible to break their indestructible torches. And when someone says you can't do it, to me, that's a challenge. So, Saturday afternoon, me and Paracord Sam decide we're going to copy what they did at the Gadget Show. But we did it on a big oak tree. So we got the 3-watt LED torch, which retails for £25 at the moment, $24.99. So we bungeed it around the oak tree, slammed it against the tree. Nothing. poor old oak tree came off worse than the torch. So, old man in the woods, he comes along, says, Mark, what are you doing? So we told him about the Gadget Show Challenge and the Vatar Challenge, what they challenge us to do. So he said, bring it over here. I'll be able to smash it up. No chance. I've been trying to do it. An army truck, bomb disposal tank, that can't smash it up. So, old man, you're not going to do it. So he basically copied what he did. He got a concrete slab, put it against the campfire and chucked the slab. And pow, the indestructible torch was no longer indestructible. It more was deceased. So much so that for the whole weekend that we were there, the torch was still going on. And we couldn't turn it up because it was so smashed up. Yes. Aha. Come and say hello. Come and say hello. Everyone say hello. Say hello.
Hello.
Say, my name is Grace.
My name is Grace.
And my daddy is Big Man in the Woods.
The big one in the woods.
Yeah. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was the assistant producer of Big Man in the Woods podcast, who's now sitting on my lap watching me, making sure I do the best of my job. So, the old man, he got the torch completely smashed up, as I said. The whole weekend it wouldn't turn off. So technically it was still working. the 3-watt torch was still beaming out, bright as anything, but it just wouldn't turn off. But it was smashed. So it kind of was deceased and it wasn't deceased, if you know what I mean. So I sent this photo to Vatar, however you pronounce her name, and they were like, hey, Mark.
You're Grace.
Yes, that's Grace. Assistant producer wants to know that her name is Grace. So they were kind of like, that's impossible. How did you manage to smash up the torch? Nobody's been able to do it. The tank hasn't been able to do it, and you've been able to do it. So I kind of told them, and they kind of went, ooh.
I can do it.
Apparently the producer can do it. So they were really impressed. So old man, he wins a prize for smashing up the indestructible 3-watt torch. So it is possible and it isn't possible, but these are really cool. So we're going to briefly talk about the 3-watt torch. It's a 3C battery.
Daddy, I can do it.
Can you do it? Oh, very good. Apparently she can smash up the torch as well.
Daddy, I want to. Smash.
No, don't smash that. You need to smash the torch. Okay. Are you going to sit here and listen?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This actually is my daughter's favourite torch at the moment. So this torch has been dropped from 9 meters and indestructible, but we did it just standing on it. It's water resistant. It's shock absorbed rubberized head and an end cap, and it has LED lights with 140 lumens and 45 lumen energy saver. Its beam range is 140 meters.
Daddy.
Yes.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm talking to myself on a podcast.
Oh, sure.
Do you want to shall we do a Peppa Pig podcast?
Yeah.
All right, let's make a noise with Peppa Pig.
Okay.
Go on, do it. Out. And what's Daddy Pig's favourite saying when it's sunshine?
A nice day for doing nothing.
It's a lovely day for doing nothing. So after all that kind of jargon, 140 metres, it really is a cool, bright beam of a torch. It's really cool. It's a little bit on the heavy side, but it's not too bad for a torch. 25 quid. The other one that they sent me was the 1-watt LED indestructible torch. You can get that on the market for £15. So with the this torch, it's been drop tested for 15 feet. It's the same kind of thing, rubber ends. It's a really nice looking all black torch. All of them are all black. And this one takes three AAA batteries. And the beam length onto this is 160 meters. So it's brighter and the beam is longer. And this one you can bend into a wide beam. Oh no, that's the. No, you could, that's the 3-watt one. I'm getting confused. With the 3-watt one, you can make it into an open, wider beam or pinpoint beam. Yeah. So this one is brighter, but it's not as big. And as they say, size matters. So they also sent me the Indestructible Headlight, which is a 1 watt, 5 lead LED. But the only thing with this one that I do like on the other headlights, it doesn't have the red light on it, so you can't wear it around the campfire. Not that you wear it around the campfire, but you can't have it at night time and beam it on because it is 1 5 light beam 5 LED. You can dim it from full beam dim to off, but I like having that kind of red light option as well. So that's that. And then I did purchase, because I really enjoyed the torches, I purchased their Indestructible Lantern. And that's on the retail price for 30 quid. But at the moment, if you go to Amazon, you can get it for £18.99. So 19 quid, 20 quid. For a really cool, rubberized, waterproof, 5 watt lantern. The weight is, if you're interested in weight, it's 400 grams and dimensions 18.5 by 8.5 centimeters. And you can top it up by batteries or the mains. So really, really like that. If you want a bit brighter, they've got the 4 watt LED camping lantern, but that's not indestructible. What they did send me, which I was really disappointed about. So torches really cool, headlamp really cool, lantern really cool, but then they sent me something that I've been testing for about the past 2 years. Phone chargers. So if you've been listening to podcast and the Urban Bushcraft podcast, you'll notice that we've been testing a lot of phone chargers. So solar panel chargers, or off the mains chargers, or in this case, battery powered. They sent me 2 power packs, okay? So the one I gave to Paracord Sam.
Sorry?
Yes?
Why are you talking to Sam?
Paracord Sam. He's a friend of mine. Yeah. Oh.
What's Sam gone?
Sam is camping at the Wilderness Gathering at the moment. So back to talking to myself. Paracord Sam tested this one. It's the Vatar Indestructible Power Pack 6000. External power pack with two USB ports, dustproof, waterproof. That retails for 30 quid. Then I got another phone charger, which is 2000 millihertz. Very disappointed. It didn't even give me one full charge over the weekend when I was at the Wildfire and Chilli festival. So I wanted to take these with me to test, and it completely messed up. Really, it's a shame. Really was a shame, because they don't look the best bit of kit. They're very plasticky and they don't look like a proper camping. You can chuck it in your backpack, yeah? So it says it's designed for camping and caravans and cars and that kind of stuff. But when you look at it, very plasticky. It's got a rubber casing around it, but it's not very good. It's not very good because it doesn't charge your phone. Seriously, Vatar. So I'll be sending feedback with them. So if you are looking for a phone charger, Vatar Indestructible Power Pack 6000 and the 2001, doesn't recommend. I wouldn't even give it a 1 star because I didn't get one full battery. If you do want a really good mobile phone charger, I would highly recommend going to a website called mobilesolarchargers.co.uk. I've used this company for a few years now. Absolutely amazing. Really, really cool. Solar chargers, not my favourite thing at the moment. You do have to get full sunlight. You can't charge it behind the window, blah, 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 blah. But that's really cool. But what they do offer you is what they call the power bank. These are charged off the mains. And the one I've got cost me 35 quid. It's called the Premier Power Pack. And you can get 4, 5... In fact, I've got 7 charges out of it. It does say on the website it's for 5 charges. USB, I think there's 3 ports off the top of my head. 35 quid. Email them, mention my name, Mark Yates, Big Man in the Woods. They will look after you. Really cool guys down there. Amazing. So that's who I'm saying. If you want to get a mobile charger, go and get that. Get the power bank. 35 quid. Called the Premier Power Bank. Fantastic. Really cool, really cool. So if you are looking for a phone charger, head over to Solar Mobile Charger website. You might be able to get a sale on. I don't know if they're doing anything like that. But as I say, Vatar phone charger, not that good. But the Solar Mobile chargers that I'm testing and I've bought 2 of them are absolutely amazing. Also, hopefully the Chilli Festival will be happening in 2016. If it does, I will let you know. Right, so rounding up the Christmas special, episode 17, a really good friend of mine, Terry Longhurst. He chats about Scout idea called the Bush Scout. You'll find out all about it now.
We're joined via Skype by 2 guys by different names. They come from a variety of names. Old Man, then he's changed his name to Old Man Woodcraft. It was Skip. He's now like, what's your title now?
In what?
In scouting.
In scouting? Do you want my county title?
Yeah.
Assistant County Commissioner for Scouts, Greater London North East.
Ah, wicked. We've spoken to you about a year ago. It's Mr. Terry Longhurst. Woo!
It's all gone downhill since then.
Oh, no, really? Oh, no.
No.
And rumour has it Paracord Sam is in the room as well.
Yeah, I'm in.
Hey.
Right, so this episode we're talking about a really cool new thing that's being kind of officially launched about a month ago or something, isn't it? Is it something like that, Terry?
Yeah, I would say about a month ago. Yeah.
Bush Scout. So let's hand it over to you, Terry. You explain all about Bush Scout.
So Bush Scout has been in the making now for approximately 5 years, I would say. It was born because we were attending the headquarters of the Scout Association at Gilwell Park, involved with a practical skills meeting to try and do something about this. However, that project kind of fell by the wayside, and because of that, we were invited to be involved with a book, which you are fully aware of, Mark.
The Outdoor Adventure Manual.
The Haynes Outdoor Adventure Manual. So both myself and a young man by the name of Austin Lill got involved with that. And from that, after producing that, I received an email and was invited to attend Reunion because they were going to be developing a practical skills zone or area. Now, Reunion is an adult gathering of Scout leaders once a year, which I understand you're also aware of, Mark.
Yay! It's a good weekend.
One of your favourite events.
Yay! Only because I get lots of freebies.
Yeah. And you get to have your photo taken with Bear. Anyways, we went along to this and we ran a stand, basically doing some skills, i.e. knife skills, how to make a whistle, different types of practical skills activities, basically. And from there grew this mighty oak of Bush Scout, or what has become Bush Scout, because leaders were coming up to us and asking whether we would come along and attend events and provide practical skills at their events. And the first person to do that was a guy called Simon Ashton, and we travelled up to Cheshire, and we sat for the weekend doing things like paracord knitting and whistle making and practical skills with the attendees, the scouts and explorers and young people, cubs and whatever, doing practical skills. And we thought, there's something here that needs addressing. So we came up with this concept of Bush Scout, which at the moment is getting more and more popular because we're getting emails from all around the country. And when I say all around the country, I mean from Scotland down to the south of England, asking what it's all about and how do we get involved.
Okay, so just kind of backtracking, how come Scout leaders don't have any outdoor experience then? Isn't scouting all about getting out and about? So why would you need to teach scout leaders these skills?
Well, I'm a great believer in putting you out in scouts, as you know, and unfortunately, new scout leaders coming into scouting are not of this ilk. Some of them don't have these skills. They're not. My background's within the construction industry, and I'm a trained joiner, so I kind of been playing with wood all my life, so I know I've used bladed articles, that's the phone, tools, etc. all my life. So, and I've been involved in scouting all my life. So there's people coming into scouting now that have never been involved in scouting because of the big, publicity push of our good friend, the Chief Scout Bear Grylls. People want to be involved with scouting now. So these new people that are coming in, obviously they need to try and obtain these skills so they can entertain these young people, or provide an exciting program for them.
Big Man in the Woods with Mark Yates.
Big Man in the Woods.
Aren't these skills taught on the Nights Away module course?
No. In some cases, yes. But the Nights Away course that we run in our county, we provide probably 4 half-hour sessions on some basic skills. So how to light a fire, bit of knife and axe work, some knot tying and a bit of pioneering. Now, there's a heap load of skills out there involved in scouting that that doesn't cover. So we've developed it, and we now provide a separate course away from Nights Away, which is a skills day.
Okay.
And that's provided by what is now Bush Scout within our county. And there are other counties in the UK that are now taking on that idea. And the beauty of it is that the people involved in the counties who are delivering this skills day will go and support other skills days. So, for instance, we've got one coming up in November in Warwickshire, which involves a young man by the name of Julian Cresswell. And we're going along to support his course. Because
that was a wet weekend though, wasn't it?
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. There's one coming up, won't be?
Yeah. That was a warm-up weekend.
Yeah. So, that's the beauty of it. We can support other people until they're up and running and developed it in their own county and maybe train their own people to deliver this.
Big Man in the Woods. He's my dad.
If you were a director of a company, say, for instance, a construction company, and you wanted all your guys to be singing off the same hymn sheet and, working safely, etc., etc., it's something you would, personally, if it was me, it's something I would want to do professionally, is to make sure that my guys were delivering a good program, doing good work, and I think this can help that.
Okay.
So, for instance, if you're letting these guys go off, or if you've got leaders out there who are delivering knife safety, axe work, all that type of stuff, fires, you want to know they're doing it safely and they're all singing off the same hymn sheet. So this hopefully is what that will do. It will provide that continuity and a standard that people can work to.
On iTunes, Spreaker, iHeartRadio and online. You're listening to Big Man in the Woods.
No, just you talk to different scout leaders around the country and whatever, and everyone gets all different experiences from the Nights Away course.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say much about mine.
Some are good, some are bad.
Mine was an interesting weekend, shall we say? Not saying too much.
In what county was that then?
Rewind a bit and you'll find out.
So you must appreciate where I'm coming from with this.
I do. No, absolutely.
And I've had so many messages, or we've had so many messages, when we've been out in the, just this last weekend we were up in Derbyshire as Bush Scout supporting an event run by a company called Elk Kit, called the Big Shakeout. We spent all weekend there, and we were delivering the Kelly Kettle Challenge, which involves knife work. We were making whistles for young people, and we were doing tomahawk throwing with the young people as well, and adults. And we were talking to the people over the weekend, and it's still blatantly obvious that a lot of people don't know what scouting's all about. Also, we were fortunate enough to meet some scout leaders as well who, fully supported what we were doing, and again liked the idea of what we were doing, and I've no doubt we'll get some more emails because of that. So we're getting out there in the public face and getting scouting out there, and also this new concept of delivering practical skills to adult leaders. It's not geared at delivering it to the young people. It's aimed at the leaders, so that the leaders can then go off and hopefully develop their program and be confident to train the young people with these practical skills.
You're listening to Big Man in the Woods.
So it's 10 to 8 as we record this on Tuesday night. In an hour's time, our mate Bear's on. Have you been watching the new Bear series?
No, I haven't. I haven't seen it. I will tonight, though, because I'm at home.
Unlike you.
Yeah, exactly.
He has been, this week in the press, been slated.
I saw that, yeah.
About this series.
That's
Bear.
What do you think about him, then?
What do I think about Bear?
Yeah.
Thank goodness there's no cameras. I'm blushing now.
I'm guessing this is going to be cut. I bet he stood behind you, isn't he?
Yeah, he's making my... Eddie, make it with sugar, mate. Yeah. See? No. So for me, you actually kind of described me earlier on when you were talking about scout leader. So
right.
as you obviously know, I didn't have much outdoor experience. I didn't come into scouting from Beavers Cubs Scouts. I came in straight as an adult. So I've been learning as we've been going along. Been doing loads of courses, and lucky enough to have a really cool tuition from Kirley. Yeah. So that's been real cool help. So Bear has kind of, for me, inspired me to get out and about, and as well as getting the young people into scouting as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So Bear does get slagged off a bit. And I proved it wrong to one scout leader when he said, Bear hasn't inspired young people to come out and about. So winter camp at Gilwell, we stopped the young people and asked them. And I wouldn't say all of them, but quite a high majority said, yeah, Bear has inspired me to join scouts and get out. So, and then once I've got to know Bear over the few years, you kind of learn new stuff about him, and I've learned met quite a few of his crew. And they do say that Bear doesn't do it the correct way. He's not teaching you how to do bushcraft at all, unlike Uncle Ray.
Yeah.
What Bear does, he does it for telly, and he does make some stupid decisions or whatever, however you want to say it, but it's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. It's like anything, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Last week he was in Yorkshire in these underground caves, and there was tight squeezing. It was for me, it was horrible to watch, because I was kind of like, no, there's no way you'd be catching me getting underground in these caves full of water. Yeah. And the instructor, the guide that was with them, said, right, guys, we need to get out, and in fact we need to get out now.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you could see to him that it was all really telly, because they were kind of like, yeah, we'll do it, and the guy was like, no, we need to go now, and then it was all hyped up and stuff like that. So you can see it's all done for telly.
I agree.
But Bear's done a lot for me, and I think he's done a lot for the whole scouting.
Definitely. I've seen 500 kids scream their head off when he came down to land in his helicopter.
Yeah, that was probably just me though.
It might have been our London Regional Commissioner, actually, who the screaming was for. No, but, the kids love him.
So there we are, Mr. Legend himself, Terry Longhurst, talking about Bush Scout. And if you want to find more information, head over to the website, bigmaninthewoods.co.uk, and click on podcasts and go to episode 17, and there's a link there to get hold of Terry Longhurst. So that ends 2015 of Big Man in the Wood podcast. Thank you very, very much. It's been an amazing year. I may not be doing as many podcasts at the moment, but I'm always on Facebook, always uploading stuff on there. It's been a great year. I would like to thank so many people, but the list is endless. 2016 is going to be an amazing year for Big Man in the Woods. Paul Kirley will be on it. My mate, who's my personal trainer, has been helping me lose weight. Perry Lane, he's going to be teaching us how to stay fit while in the park and in the woods. Big thing for me. Getting at fitness. Loads of things happening, yeah? Have a great Christmas whenever you listen to this, and a happy new year. Before we go, I'm giving you the chance to win an amazing bundle of prizes. Head over to the Facebook page, just search for Big Man in the Woods. There's a load of prizes, some books in there for your chance to win. All you got to do is like and reshare the post. That's all you got to do. On Instagram as well, and it will finish on New Year's Eve. Ooh. Right, join me next year. Wow. And continuing all the support. Thank you very much, and have a great year. All the best to 2016.
Big Man in the Woods. Big Man in the Woods. Big Man in the Woods. And here's your host, Mark Yates. It's Christmas!
This concludes the broadcast.
Power off. Let's go.